back, ladies and gentlemen, to another beautiful episode of the Red and White Chalkboard podcast, where I'm joined with my good friend Taylor. My name is Cormac, and we have more and more football to discuss. Taylor, how are we?
I'm good, thank you, man. Very excited. Got the Manchester United European away trip on Thursday to look forward to. It's just a big week. Got lots of big Champions League fixtures to think about and talk about and to watch over the course of the week. How are you, my man? You good?
Yeah, very good, man. We both had quite boozy weekends, I think. So this is luckily it's been recorded on a Monday night, which is probably slightly better anyway than a Sunday. So we do have all the Sunday games ready to talk about. But quickly before we got in, if you guys are enjoying this, and some of you that maybe don't know us and are watching it, please like, please subscribe, please share, do all that stuff wherever you can. It does a lot. We really enjoy it. Send us hate, I don't care. Whatever gets people clicking, comment, do all that stuff. But jumping into it though, Taylor. Kevin De Bruyne.
Biggest news of the week,
That is the biggest news covering this week. Kevin De Bruyne is leaving Man City at the end of the season. 33 years old now, so he's been there. I think, is it 9 years he's been in Man City?
I think he's had 11 seasons.
11 seasons?
Yeah.
No. Right, okay. So he's, a long time. And he's...
Oh, no, 11 seasons for 4 clubs, including Manchester City.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. But, I mean... Without question, Premier League, great. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I think for so many years now, he's 33 now. He's been one of the better attacking midfielders the Prem's probably ever seen. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, as an Arsenal fan as well, he always performed against Arsenal. He always came up against
Did it against United as well, man?
Yeah, well, that just probably I did it against everyone.
He did it against everyone, I guess.
Yeah. But I don't think there's been a player in my kind of conscious lifetime where every time I watch him, there's something that I just go, what the fuck? Like, wow, how's he done that?
100% agree. I think one of my favourite parts about watching De Bruyne is, when he gets the ball and he just has this weird acceleration and power to him.
Yeah.
Akin to almost what Yaya Toure had, but Kevin De Bruyne doesn't look like he should have the physicality that
bizarrely fast when he has the ball.
Yeah, bizarrely fast, very good strength, very capable to cover a lot of strides very quickly. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my favorite. And then he always managed, after doing that, to find the pass that, if you're watching on telly, it's sometimes easier to see a pass that a player's not going to see.
Sure.
He always sees the telly pass, if that makes sense. The one pass that no one else
sees. The FIFA pass.
The FIFA pass. Yeah. He manages to find it, 80% of the time, which the average player might find it 10% of the time. He's been head and shoulders above so many of the Prem players the last few years. I think standout player in the league, and just really good to see him leave.
I'm actually gutted. He's probably genuinely one of my favourite players, especially in the last kind of 10 years.
I'm not saying that.
I know, I'm going to say it. I just think he's so fun to watch when he's on it. He has had obviously injury issues, especially more recently, but kind of in his heyday, in his prime, which to be fair was about 5 or 6 years, kind of consecutively. He was constantly finding the right balls, constantly finding. He was lucky, but he had quality around him as well. So he was able. Those players were making the runs for him, and they never had any doubt that he was just going to make the pass.
Yeah, I think he played in that one of the most impressive Premier League achievements I remember, in the Manchester City that season, where they didn't have a recognised striker, and they just played essentially all these floating midfielders in unison up the pitch, and De Bruyne was able to pretty much be the architect of that team, in a team where they didn't have a striker, and they managed to be so dominant in the Premier League and play just some of the most incredible football the league's seen in recent times. Yeah. That alone is awesome, and that's an all-timer season. And he's continued to he's been so consistent, hasn't he? He's been so consistent. He's not just had 2 seasons, scored loads of goals and assists and then dropped off. Mm-hmm. He's been there for 8-9 seasons as the best midfielder in the Premier League. I think it's a shame when you see that caliber of player get older and leave the league, because the league loses out. You're right,
because he's still got it right.
He still has. He still looked good against us.
Well, that's it. He can still play the part. It is just physically now staying. He's 33, so he's not old, but he's always kind of had underlying injury issues, hasn't he? And I think now it has all just unfortunately caught up to him a bit too much. And I think he's leaving at the perfect time, because it does feel like a bit of an end of an era. Mm-hmm. It does feel like Man City have had that down year. Pep's going to go through. Looks like he's going to stay and go through a bit of a rebuild. I think he's leaving at the perfect time, and 100%. For me, he's comfortably top 3 Premier League midfielders all time. There's an argument to be made, I think, but again, biased view because I do love him so much.
I mean, in our era, absolutely. Yeah, it's getting really hard now.
It's so subjective
to create these top three of all time in the league, because the league's been around for so long. The players that existed in the 2000s are nowhere near the physical capability of the players that play now. It's almost very difficult.
It's impossible to compare eras as well.
But here we're gonna
do it anyway, and you're always going to piss people off.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what you say. If you could give me on top of your dome right now, could you give me a top 5 roughly? Do you think, or just De Bruyne make that?
Yeah, 100%. I got Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
I will put Kevin De Bruyne in there. I will put David Silva in there, and I would put as a 5th.
Where is he? I'm waiting for the. Hang on.
No, I'm not going to do it. I can't put another Manchester
United player. Well, no, there's a certain Scouse guy that you haven't mentioned.
No, I'm not mentioning. Steven Gerrard does not get in the list.
Are you serious?
100%.
I think he's better than
I will die on that hill so badly.
I think he's better than Lampard.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, comfortably.
No,
I think he is. As a midfielder, Lampard, this isn't a Lampard, Frank Lampard, Gerrard debate. Sorry, carry on your list.
No, well, actually, I'm just minded to go to, just from what I've seen in recent history anyway. Like Yaya Toure as well. Big fan of him.
I love Yaya Toure.
So it's annoying to have to put 3 City players in that list, but that's just how good they've been.
I mean, the thing is as well for us, I think kind of prime, you have players like your Steven Gerrards, like Patrick Vieira's and stuff like that. We didn't really see in there.
No.
Because like when Vieira left Arsenal, I think we were 7 or 8 years old.
I can't say I've ever watched the full 90 minutes of Patrick Vieira.
I have hungover bored on YouTube at uni, I think.
And not many people our age have going to have seen that either. No. So I like to put players I've actually seen in these lists. Yeah. But also, there's no way Steven Gerrard exists in that list.
Really?
He's never won a championship. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, he has been fantastic, and he was fantastic for Liverpool. I just think I like my players that have titles behind, proof in the pudding.
Okay.
I think Lampard's numbers in the Premier League are better than Gerrard's as well.
Goal scorer numbers. Yeah. I just think Gerrard was a better overall player than Lampard.
Maybe.
I think Lampard was great. He's the best goal scoring midfielder, comfortably.
But I can't say I've watched a whole load of recent 90 minutes of Gerrard and Lampard in their prime.
Sure.
So all I can think about really is who won the most trophies? Lampard, comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Who scored the most goals? Lampard, probably comfortably.
I think
so. There's no way Steven Gerrard exists in that list.
I think he does. I think there's a real conversation for it. I think if you
listen to
who? David Silva, maybe. I don't think Yaya Toure is top 5 all time. He's definitely top 10.
Yeah, okay.
Bloke's weird, by the way. He's nuts. You ever seen him?
Yeah.
He's crazy. Just side note, but yeah.
Isn't that thing where he's cursed Manchester City because they didn't get him a birthday cake?
Good on him.
Respect, man.
Yeah, good on him. Didn't work.
No.
Good respect a man for trying.
I'm trying to think. I don't really think Yaya Toure should be in there. I'm just struggling to think of.
No, that's fair. I think you're right though. I think I would go De Bruyne. This is no particular order. De Bruyne. I know, coward.
Cop out.
Scholes. I will put Gerrard in there. I think in a few years there'll be an argument for Rodri probably making an appearance in there. I know. But the only ones that have a Ballon d'Or have all these lot though. But not yet. De Bruyne, Scholes, Gerrard,
Fred.
and Francis Coquelin. There you go.
That's too bad. That's such a good list.
Yeah, great list. I don't think you can argue with that actually.
No, I think that's yeah.
But for me, I think De Bruyne. If we've got some numbers there, we can just rattle off just to finish this off.
Yeah, go on then.
He's probably greatest of all time.
Where I am, because that's going to be way too complicated to figure out. Man City. Okay, it's in the Prem. So in 240 Premier League games, he has 70 goals, and 116 assists. So, combine that, it's what?
186.
Yeah, 186. Boom, quick math. Yeah. Cormac.
It's interesting. So he's got that one season there in 20, whatever that was there, 2,800 minutes. So he got 20 assists.
Yeah.
So that's joint assist record of the Premier League.
Thierry
Henry just want to mention that basically.
Yeah.
Get that in.
Best centre mid,
top of the top 5. But yeah, I think without a doubt, probably one of the best passers in the Premier League ever, if not the best, in terms of kind of ability to play the ball through to a striker.
That first season when Haaland arrived, they were just on such an impeccable wavelength, as if they've been playing together their whole careers. And it's just because both are such highly intelligent footballers.
That's it.
Both are so good at what they do individually. Like De Bruyne is so good at putting it on the sixth bench for the striker, and Haaland is so good at being in the spot where the sixpence is needed almost, and it just works so well. And again, to see, it's a shame because obviously everything seems to like slow down a bit for Manchester City this season, but to not see that part, it was a very good partnership.
Yeah,
and it's the league's lacking as a result.
Well, that's it. Because I think I saw on Sky that he's still got the most chances created per 90.
Oh yeah,
which again, it's not a surprise, is it? Because he's still got it.
These best centre mids, they get the older they get, the more intelligent they get as well. So they manage their body. Just to reference like Paul Scholes as well.
Sure.
As he got older, he definitely wasn't running around anywhere, and he wasn't putting up numbers like De Bruyne would. But he equally could control a game.
Yeah, he dropped deeper, didn't he?
Yeah, he dropped deeper, controlled the game more. So I think De Bruyne could have kept going probably for another 2 years, I think, in the Prem, and still be one of the outstanding players because he's just so game intelligent and so
but instead, I imagine he's off to...
he's going to collect the paycheck now.
Sweet money,
of course,
isn't he? He's going to go over there and be level above everyone.
I think he won't move to Saudi because that doesn't link up in my mind. It doesn't make sense for Kevin De Bruyne to go to Saudi. I feel like he's too much of an outspoken character.
I think he could still make it in a Champions League level team, right?
I think he gets to MLS. Apparently, into Miami.
The retirement.
Are starting to draw up a contract. Because to be fair,
big money there as well.
No, but imagine De Bruyne and Messi playing together in it. That could.
It's probably about 10 years later than everyone would have wanted.
Yeah, it's a shame because now Messi's obviously never going to run onto a pass.
No.
But again, also to see him play with Luis Suarez could be quite interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's a bit of fun.
Incredibly well.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Florida has something like 5% income tax as well. So, I think you're doing all right there.
He'll get paid nicely to play with very good players. But also, we're talking about the MLS too much. So
exactly.
Let's drift it across to Sunday's game. So Manchester United versus Manchester City. This ended 0-0. Cormac, did you watch?
Regrettably, yeah. It's one of the worst games I've watched this year, comfortably. It was so dull. 0-0, I think, is generous. I think they should take points off both sides. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Man United, as we know, we're going to sound a lot like a broken record here, just incompetent up front. Literally have nothing. I think you were fine defensively. It's not like Man City particularly went for you. And I think probably vice versa as well. I think Man City defended fine. The centre-backs were all right. And
it was a weird game. There was chances. Phil Foden had a wonderful chance, which Mazraoui defended very well. Mm-hmm. And Garnacho had an open goal from a Dalot cross, which it looked more difficult to miss.
He just completely scuffed it, didn't he?
But it's just where he's at the minute. He's one of these you can buy a goal. So there was chances and there was moments in the game where either team, had they won, would have received just a nice narrative week because they would have won. And the other team would be like, well, what can we do? Because both teams were so bad that neither of them deserved to win. Mm-hmm. It was just, dreadful game. I thought the quality was really low.
Yep.
I thought, you're right.
The energy was low. It was played like two teams who just didn't really care what the result was. They just didn't want to cock up, really.
They didn't want to lose. You could so tell that was the vibe, especially as the game progressed.
Yeah, as it got later.
You didn't want to be that team.
Which you can't blame them, really. You do get that.
No, to be fair, from a Manchester United point of view, it's better than a City point of view. But it's just weird how the narrative around United swings because, from my opinion, we've just played third place Forest and fifth place City. And I thought we performed admirably in both. I thought you can definitely see the process now under Amorim of what he's trying to achieve because we look a lot more solid defensively. And you can see what the idea is a bit more. Yeah. But it's just, we are lacking such a killer punch. We talk about Rashford on this podcast. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not bothered. But he is ultimately a seasoned pro who's scored a lot of goals for Manchester United. He's on the top 10 all-time goal scoring list. That he's obviously scored a lot of goals. We took him out. We took Anthony, who ultimately is he's not the youngest, and he's not the oldest.
What's he, 20?
He's 23 now.
Okay, 23.
Yeah, 22, right. 23. So he's, got a few, he should be one of the more mature players of the squad. We lost Ahmad to the rest of the season. So we are ultimately stuck with a Xerxes first season. Højlund, who,
unfortunately.
I've been Team Højlund for the longest time.
You have.
It's
not it, is it?
It's weird. He even scored against Leicester before the international break, and I thought this could be it. But he just looked immediately back to and I think that's the most concerning thing because everyone thought he'll score and then he'll look
better,
a bit sharper, a bit quicker, a bit
I think it's probably just too much too young for him, isn't it? Because like he hadn't played something like less than 50 professional games before.
He hadn't played many at all. Yeah, and he was at Sturm Graz in Austria, and he was in Atalanta in Italy. So he's not playing for like a Bayern Munich, or in a top 5 league for a top 5 team. Yeah. So it's a lot. He's struggling, and Garnacho just looks like he needs to go to the hills or something. I
still think there's obviously a player there. I think he's just had a bad year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Garnacho. I'm looking forward to the moment that he hits lots of goals. It should come. It will come in his career. A period where he scores lots of goals.
Was he again 21?
He's had the most.
Just turned 21, has he?
Just turned 21. He might be even 20.
Yeah.
So he's took the most shots in the United squad outside of Bruno Fernandes, who, by the way, looked fantastic.
Yeah, well, I want to touch on him in a minute.
Garnacho has had like 65 shots so far this season. I think Haaland's had 21, and Xerxes had like 20, 22 maybe.
Yeah, Xerxes a load of shooting,
Garnacho's had 3 times the shots that our strikers have had. So eventually he's going to have to score a goal.
Just for the law of averages.
Yeah, just the law of averages.
He's going to have to get a goal at some point.
So, but I just think midfield looks so slow. Uncle Casimir, I appreciate what he's doing at the minute. Bro's working his socks off.
He is, isn't he?
But doesn't remove the idea that he's not slow, and he's quite easily tackled off the ball, and he does have an eye for a pass. I'll say that about him. He's got the first time clipping in him. Yeah. But then I think when you have that alongside Bruno, who also has that in him, it's just like, don't need both. No. So hopefully we can kind of refresh him. Mainly should be back soon as well. And Ugarte, interesting side note, was substituted against Forest at halftime. Substituted, on Sunday at the 60-minute mark. So I don't know what's happened there.
Is that a fitness thing? Or
I don't know, because he did play for Uruguay in the in the World Cup qualifiers. So I don't know what. I've just noticed that. Maybe it's not anything, but it just seems weird. Yeah. Maybe it's jet lag, or maybe Amarin's annoyed about something. Who's to say? Who's to know?
I think, like you said, the game was very dull. But United, it's clear that Amarin is trying something, and there's just nothing going forward. I think you guys need about 6, maybe 7 players in that like front, wing backs, strikers, someone with Bruno.
Wing backs, man. Diego Dallo is an enemy of this.
He's trying. I saw Gary Neville were like, maybe Dallo can try something. And I just thought in the back of my mind, I was like, Taylor's not going to stand for that.
No. And you know what? I actually didn't get angry watching the game, but the point of anger where it erupted from me like a volcano was when I saw in the 60th minute Victor Lindelof coming on again, man. This world we're living in where Victor Lindelof is still playing for Manchester United, it needs to come to an abrupt end. It's cursed, man.
Yeah.
The club will not succeed in anything until Victor Lindelof has left my football club.
I can't believe he's still there.
I can't believe he's playing. Just get him out of there. I don't care. He's rubbish.
Let's talk about Bruno then, because he's clearly been United's best player for the last 4 or 5 years, probably.
Well, pretty much since the day
he signed. He decided in January, didn't he? And was it 2019, 18?
Yeah.
One of that. And he's probably been the best player since he signed. He's given his best years to Man United, while Man United have given their worst years to him. And he is a rat. But he's still he's one of the better midfielders in the league, especially like in terms of just creating stuff and goal scoring when he's on it. Mm-hmm. But he's just got fools around him who really don't know what to do. What are your thoughts on Bruno? I mean, obviously, I don't think he wouldn't leave, would he now? I think that would be a real shock. And he is your club captain. But you do have to filter him, right?
You know what?
Because he's trying.
People unnecessarily give Bruno Fernandes a lot of hate. Even Manchester United fans do, and it's a shame because he, like you say, he's been the best player for the team since he arrived. He's just, you're so right, Cormac. He is literally surrounded by fools.
It's about fools, by the way. I don't know where that's come from.
That's a great shout. It's so appropriately put. You got, just mess around him everywhere. A lot of players, he understands what the assignment is so well.
Yeah.
And everyone else hasn't even read the sheet of paper that he's written on. Fools. You're right. And he has been so productive from a goals and assist point of view. He's consistently our clutch player.
Yep.
Like if we have won a game, I can almost guarantee Bruno Fernandes has either scored or assisted what the goals that have led to it.
Mm-hmm.
He is everything that is good about Manchester United. Yes, I know he whines. Don't care. I actually like it. I find it quite funny.
He's one of those, but I think he is. If he's on your team, you love him.
He plays the game. Football's more than just kicking a ball around. It's, the theatrics go far in terms of like setting the tone of the referee, having the conversation. He's not one of these players. There's players who will like fall to the ground a lot and not get the free kick because the ref has a certain opinion of them.
And he is one of those.
No, he's not. The ref always gives Bruno, I'd say like 80 for how much he falls to the ground.
Which is a lot.
He gets the majority of it because it's weird. If you actually watch like all of it.
I know, I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
There's times when he dips and he just does it too dramatically and you won't get it. But in terms of like how consistently in the middle of the park,
he can draw fouls, can't he?
Yeah, he's quite good at it.
But he definitely makes the most of it.
Oh, 100%. But I like that because he gets it. I'd rather him do that than not make the most of it and then lose possession.
Yeah.
So I think, such a shame that he's just shining light again. He'll win Player of the Season again. I think he really...
Was it Dallo last year, by the way, Player of the Season?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Sad days.
It was runner-up Lindelof.
Oh, God.
Like, come on, man. When will this club give me a break? And just sign a right wing back that isn't related to Diego Dallo in any shape or way. Guy. But I think Bruno's really missing Ahmad as well. Mm-hmm. One of those positions you're talking about to buy in the summer, we have Ahmad waiting to come back. That's like, that would feel like a new signing at that point. It's like almost like although I think for you guys it's more dramatic because of the game at stake, but Saka coming back at Arsenal, I feel like it feels like a new signing, doesn't it? It feels like he's back again, because he's been out for a while. It's been really tough, without him. So I feel like we would, as a fan base, really appreciate Ahmad come back. He probably won't. He's probably out for the season.
I think it sounds like he is, right? That's why I thought.
Keeps hearing the murmurings of just like, oh, he might be back before the end of the season. I think if we get to the final of the Europa League, then I think there's every chance he's back for that.
That would be
wild. I don't think he'll be back until that game.
So it's literally kind of fine. Yeah. But final thoughts on that game. Shy.
Don't need to talk about it anymore.
City don't care. I don't care.
We've first season since I think it was like 2013 where Manchester City haven't beaten us at least one of the two.
What a trophy, man! Congrats.
Get
the silverware up.
I'll lift the cup, man.
Yeah. All right, should we touch on the other games then this weekend as well?
I think
just pull up the results really quick.
Yeah. Okay, I think we'll start off with the Arsenal game. It was the early kickoff on the Saturday, so that was Arsenal 1, Everton 1. Cormac, did you watch the game? Of course you did.
Yeah, I did. Well, actually, I only watched the first half live, and then I watched the second half, just highlights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the lineup Arsenal had out up front, we had Sterling, Trossard, and Wanyari, and we had Saka, Martinelli on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It was very clear from the get-go that we had Jorginho in midfield as well. Our best striker, Marino, was starting in midfield.
Crazy.
So it was very clear from the get-go that it is just kind of we are saving ourselves for Madrid on Tuesday. But from what I saw, fair result generally. It wasn't a penalty. It was a really, really soft
penalty. It wasn't a penalty, I agree.
I feel really bad for Lewis Skelly on that because he's had a few rough decisions against him this year.
So bizarre, isn't it?
It's really, I think, is it one of those things referees got in his mind that he's a bit rash? Because he has been a bit rash. But he's also had this, which is bollocks.
Super rash.
No, well, that's the thing.
It's like unlucky rashness.
That's it, because the other ones have gone against him. And then this, I don't know, this was really soft penalty. A bit shit. I feel like VAR, again, we don't need to talk about it if it's boring and everyone hates it, but it doesn't work because this is a prime example of it's not a penalty, but it's a clear and obvious shite.
Mm-hmm. VAR is just a whole new beast in itself, it feels like now. It feels like I heard someone describe it perfectly in that there's people who receive really large pay packets who have decided that we need this form of VAR, the way that we have it. There's other ways to have VAR, let me know. But the way that we have it specifically, people with large pay packets have decided that and ultimately don't want to talk themselves down from it because they look like mugs to everyone if they were to suddenly change it. Yeah. So that's why we're probably going to get keep being stuck with the format of VAR that we currently have, and it's just useless.
It is useless. We are better. I think that there is room for VAR in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
But it just needs a complete rewrite of
the way that they've currently got it.
Exactly.
It can be so readaptive.
It's crap. It's so crap.
But yeah, I mean, I actually want to ask you the question of when I know you go into this game against Everton, and really, does it really mean that much? Because you obviously got the big game on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but then you draw, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. We didn't lose, but maybe we should have won. Bad VAR decision. But then you go on to see Liverpool lose yesterday, and what I kind of want to ask is, Is it a bit of a shame? Because Liverpool have dropped off in recent months, but sadly it's come alongside when you've often drawn or not or lost.
Well, that's it. I was like, because Liverpool, they had that phase just before the international break where they obviously got knocked out. They lost to Newcastle in the final, got knocked out of the Champions League, and drew with Everton kind of all in the space of a week. But we proceeded to have such similar results, just draws, and I don't think we lost in the league, but I think we dropped points here and there. And I mean that's been the story of the season.
It's a shame.
I think injuries have had a lot to do with it, which we've been really unlucky about. Like because obviously Gabriel went off injured in this game, not this game, sorry, in the midweek fixture as well that we had, which is devastating.
Such a shame.
Just as Saka's come back. But
string as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's out for the season. Which is, I mean, we could talk about that. I think that's arguably a similar level loss from Saka to me. I think because if we had any chance of beating Madrid, which I still think we do, but without him now, defensively, we're going to really struggle. We had Kirill fill in as centre back over the weekend.
It's such a.
I don't think he will. I think it'll be probably Ben White that goes in as centre back.
Has to be.
But oh my god, it's such a loss because, like I said, defensively we're so good. Maybe one of the best in Europe, if not the best, I think, in terms of centre-back pairings. And to lose Gabriel, who's not only a great defensively, just so good for us, kind of a threat from corners as he has been this season as well, was another piece, which is a real big loss. And it does change the dynamic, I think, of the fixture. Because Saka's back is great, woohoo. But Gabriel now being out for the season is really gutting. And I think we're going to really struggle with that.
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is that Saka will help you win the tie, but Gabriel will stop you from losing it.
Yeah,
and as a base point to go from, you almost don't want to lose it and go to penalties rather than risk it now having lost.
Exactly, especially with Real Madrid's dark magic that they have.
Yeah, it's such a drop off. Whoever you have to put in that centre back because it's not just him himself; it's the partnership he has with Saliba.
Exactly,
I think Saliba does the worst when he's.
And Ben White, who has just come back from injury and hasn't played centre back for however long, he has been a right back for us for the last 2-3 years. So it's going to be a big change. But going back to just the Premier League, it has been like I said, injuries have been an issue this year. But that's not, you can't put that as the sole reason why we haven't been great, because we haven't been good going forward. Yeah. We haven't created enough chances. We've been so dependent on the likes of Saka. Being kind of our only creative outlet. Odegaard really hasn't been up to it this year. Obviously, again, was it to do with an injury? There's an argument maybe, but it doesn't really excuse kind of the rest of the squad just not having enough creativity. We've had good points, like when Yara's come through, Lewis Skelly's come through, and I think they'll be a big part for the team for the next coming years. But it has been a missed opportunity this year.
Huge.
Liverpool have been the best team, but they haven't been invincible.
There was a point when it felt like they were, but it feels like the narrative has changed now, and that actually, they've been the best, but their squad looks like it needs a lot of work as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, is that though because they haven't been challenged by the same levels? If Arsenal were 3 points behind them, 2 points behind them, I don't think they drop points to Fulham like that. Realistically,
I think they do. You're right. They're probably locked in.
Yeah, I think the Fulham result, which we can talk about now, I think is probably just them a little bit getting ready for the on the beach, is the old saying, isn't it? But Slot needs to kind of walk around the kind of change room, doesn't he, a little bit, and just go, "Come on, we're not there yet. Let's not make it closer than it needs to be," because they have been the best team, and Arsenal and City and Forest are up there now have been nowhere near Liverpool. But Liverpool, they want it to be convincing still, don't they?
Yeah, I think you're right, 100%. Liverpool are they've got it in their sides now. It's 11 points. It's there, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So I just think every time I see Liverpool lose, it's just hilarious. And I'm like, against Fulham as well. And it was also the fact they were
Fulham been a bit of a bogey team for them.
Yeah, 1-0 up, and then it was like 3 goals in 15 minutes. I literally saw them went 1-0 up on my phone. Checked again, I was like, 3-1. Weird.
Funny.
Weird result.
Very weird result.
I think actually it's probably a good point to say, I don't want to talk about the Premier League anymore. I was looking at the rest of the results and I'm like,
no, I think Southampton manager been sacked, obviously Jovic. He's got Jovic, is that how you say it?
No, Juric.
Sorry.
But he was destined to go from the minute he signed the contract. That was probably the most ridiculous managerial appointment I've ever seen from a team.
Impossible task.
Who was going to get relegated. Bro had been sacked from Roma and has come to the Premier League where he's never coached before, to the team bottom of the table. I was just like,
was he there for 4 months? I think it was.
Yeah,
in January.
Something like 18 games maybe. Or not even, it can't be even
No,
18
probably less than
games.
that.
But bro's been rubbish. They've got worse. Shout out Aaron Ramsdale for being the first person ever to get relegated with 3 different teams. That is monumental, brother.
For this one especially, he's been part of some of the worst teams ever because he was part of that Sheffield United team, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And now he's been part of the Southampton team, who are awful.
And
like, they are just a championship team.
He's a good goalkeeper, so it goes to show how important it is to look at a footballer and like how the world perceives them and to what team they exist in. Yeah, so many players are good somewhere and then go somewhere else, and he hasn't even necessarily been bad, but it's been such bad teams.
Yeah.
Shout out him. Unlucky.
Shout out Ramsdale.
Anything else? Brentford, Chelsea, 0-0.
Yeah, Leicester and Newcastle are currently playing as we speak. It's 2-0 Newcastle already. Who cares about that?
Wolves all but confirmed it for Ipswich. They are going down. All I'll say on that is 40 million for Delap. Came out today through ESPN that he is the primary striker target for Manchester United, and is currently Manchester United in the running with Chelsea. Apparently for the signing of him.
Interesting. God, Chelsea. Don't go to Chelsea. It's my
Don't go to Chelsea,
die.
bro. Just I know we suck, but going to Chelsea is just
it's my striker's got to die, and it has been.
Yeah, it's
just the days of Shevchenko.
If you're a young football player, they don't even pay lots of money as well. They do like incentivized based contracts. I don't know why so many youngsters are like choosing
9-year contracts.
I know, but they're like still insane.
So that doesn't need to do that though, because he's got other options.
It's like back themselves though. It's like. I actually think from a player's perspective, it's better to have shorter contracts, 2-year, 3-year contracts. If you back yourself, you're like 17.
But you never know, you're a broken leg away from that kind of goal.
I know, it's a double-edged sword though, isn't it?
It is. It's fun that way. But I mean, big win for Villa as well. They beat Forest in the kind of top 4 race.
That
does
actually,
make things interesting.
Fairly,
Palace as well, our favourite team, by the way, winning 2-1 against Brighton.
Yeah.
Which you'd love to see.
It's a bit of a derby, isn't it?
It is. Well, it's the M23, whatever.
Maybe.
The fake derby. But just looking now, the top 4 race. Let's have a look. Forest are there on. I'm looking for points on this bloody.
57 points.
There you go.
For Forest. Chelsea in 4th, 53 points. Then you got Man City, 52, Villa 51, Newcastle 50, 48 for Fulham, Brighton 47. Guys, a few teams here.
Yeah, Bournemouth, I think, have just dropped out of it now, haven't they? Because they lost to bloody Ipswich on the week, didn't they? They lose to Ipswich? Or something?
No,
they drew to Ipswich.
They drew to Ipswich, but they did lose. Oh, no, they drew to West Ham as well.
Oh, yeah, that was it as well. So I think they're probably out of it now.
Yeah, they're out.
They've had a weird record, Bournemouth, against kind of the more middling teams. They've done really well against the bigger teams. But yeah, anyway, that'll be enough, I think, on the Premier League this week.
Yeah, let's touch on some Champions League.
I mean, we've already touched on the Arsenal game a little bit, but I think it's time to do some predictions as well.
Yeah,
carry on that that was the beginning of the pod was when we started doing.
Man, you know what? I love the Champions League. It's a shame Manchester United. I'm so jealous of you and your tie against Real Madrid. Okay. I'm going to hit you with a prediction. Tell me what you think.
Go on.
So we've got Bayern Inter tomorrow, 8:00.
We, as a podcast, as a collective that we have, we've been shitting on Bayern Munich a little bit. Or big enough Inter as well.
No, but I'll continue to do so. So important to note. Jamal Musiala out, ACL.
I didn't see that, actually. That's
ACL or hamstring. Either an ACL or hamstring, he's out for the season. I think immediately.
That does change things.
I think... I'm a big fan of Inter. I like them.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a very good team.
I've shouted about them before. So I think they'll just do Bayern Munich.
Harry Kane's having a season though, isn't he? Still, at least I know. At least he's on like 30-odd goals.
Yeah, I know he's having a good goal scoring season, but is he having a season?
From what I've seen, again, I'm not pretending I watched the week.
Bro just scored penalties and tap-ins, man.
So right, yeah, fuck.
But also,
Inter are gonna win.
But also, when I was saying about Haaland and how he's always in the correct place, Harry Kane is also always in the correct place. And Manchester United could desperately do with a Harry Kane right now. But no, I think Inter. Well, okay. What's your prediction?
I think from earlier on when we did the last round, I did say Inter.
Bro's undecided.
You know what? I'm going to say Bayern just to be different here.
Because I am going to go for Inter. I think. Yeah. Although I don't know if Martinez is back. If Lautaro Martinez is not back, then
I'm not sure he is. I think he's still out.
Yeah, is he still out? I still think Inter will do it. I think.
Right. I'll go Bayern then. I still think Bayern are going to be too good for them.
I'm going to leave Arsenal for last. Okay.
Yep.
So then next game on Tuesday, 8:00. We've got Dortmund at home against Barcelona.
Yeah, that's next week. That one.
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah. Well, that's Wednesday. So Barcelona, Dortmund.
Oh yeah. Okay. Barcelona, Dortmund on the Wednesday. Yeah. So what do you think?
Barcelona are going to absolutely stomp them. I think.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
They just won 4-1 against I want to say Freiburg at the weekend.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
I won on FIFA earlier. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona are probably the best team left in the draw. I think
Barcelona are cool, man. Got a
really
cool team.
Yeah.
I think I have seen in La Liga there was a bit of anger. I think they had a bit of a poor result. I want to say they played Valencia. Was it Valencia? Or was that Real Madrid who lost to Valencia? Oh, come on.
Bear with us, guys.
Sorry.
I can't understand
my tech, my tech has failed me. See more matches. Yeah, that's it. So Barcelona drew against Betis on the weekend, and I think they have struggled a bit to like control their temper in the match. I think it maybe maybe they do go to Dortmund, and Dortmund may be resolute. Although actually, it came out today that Schlotterbeck is also out for the season, and I think he is their best defender. So immediately, that front three for Barcelona at home,
too good.
You know,
Rafinha's having that Ballon d'Or season.
Lamine Yamal also, you know, he's
so good.
He's so good. He's 17.
I know some of the goals he scored this season. So any moment he looks like he's going to score.
I love a player that has a signature finish, and he has the exact finish that I thought Anthony was going to have. And obviously, bro, just
he got a result, didn't he, over the weekend against Barcelona? Yeah. But so I think I'm going to say Barcelona for that one.
Yeah, I'm also going to go for Barcelona, I think. So then the next one...
PSG versus Aston Villa.
That's a great game for Villa.
I think that will be closer than people may give Villa credit for.
Why?
I just think Villa have got something about them in the Champions League. They're going to be dead up for it, as are PSG. I think defensively they're fairly solid. I do still think PSG will beat them. As I think they are just, again, when we watch them against Liverpool, they just look so good.
I think that is British bias, and I think PSG are going to absolutely stomp all over them.
Do you think? I think it'll be closer to...
I think first leg this will be done.
Wow. All right. What's your prediction for first leg, man?
I reckon 4-1 PSG.
Damn. I'm going to go...
It's a big team, man. They look really good.
2-1 PSG.
They've already got the title secure. They're champions of Ligue 1. It's the earliest anyone has ever won Ligue 1.
Really?
Yeah, as well. So they've obviously stormed it, and they're obviously going to be... They're just off the back of the Liverpool game, they're going to be thinking the only thing which will stop them is complacency. Yep. If they've won the league and they took the foot off the gas, if they think, well, look how we played against Liverpool, you know, Villa are not as good as Liverpool, but, you know, that's the only thing that's going to stop this PSG team with the quality that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Paul Matty Cash going to have to come against Dembele. There's not many players.
I fancy my Polish king. Yeah. I reckon he's got something in him. You never know.
So I just think this will be done.
I think it'll be a closer game.
I'm going for a rogue shout. I actually don't think it's rogue. So
it's definitely not rogue. I think I'm trying to make things more interesting.
Yeah,
maybe.
I like it. All
right, so tie PSG tomorrow night 2-1 anyway.
Yeah.
All right, and then the big one, which we've already touched on briefly, Arsenal, Real Madrid. Taylor, I'm going to let you go first for this one.
Oh, Arsenal at home at the Emirates. All right, I'm actually not going to be biased at all in your presence. It's a shame you guys have really got dreadful injuries. Like you haven't. I think Havertz in this game would be really useful. For as much as I hate Kai Havertz,
I think he would as well. I think he would.
I think that's a huge miss. Yeah. Obviously, Gabriel being out. The players you're bringing in have come off injuries. They're just coming back.
Oh, Timber went off in the week as well.
Timber went off in the week. And he's so important. He'd be so important in a game like this as well. I think there's a few holes in your team which Real Madrid will expose at one point. But that being said, I think you're going to get the result tomorrow. I'm going to go for...
How have we landed there?
I think you're at home. So I think...
Yeah, we are, yeah.
I like the beauty of the game. I like the miracle. You know, I like. It's almost like you are going into it as underdogs, but
we definitely are.
No, but I think you guys are also really good, and I don't think you guys are getting enough credit for how good you guys have been. It's not. Look, Real Madrid don't come up against formidable units like Arsenal,
big boys,
as often. You know, big team, got various goal threats. So I think I don't know. I think you guys could do it. I think Saka will 100% score 2-1
tomorrow night. 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with a lot of you going to say. I'm going to be honest. I'm gonna have to back my boys. I reckon tomorrow night 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon the second leg 0-0. is my prediction, which is kind of the reverse of what happened
That's
in 2006.
insane, man. They're definitely scoring goals.
No chance. I have so much faith in Kirill. I think he's going to be a godsend for us.
We need it for the podcast for Arsenal to get through.
I don't think that make things interesting.
Would be so hard.
I know.
You know, we need I'm calling it now, Arsenal United. No. No, say it with gusto. Arsenal United, both in the Champions League and the Europa League, respectively, and we have the biggest celebration party ever. When
oh my god, I just get pissed on a live stream.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, no, that's really fun. I think Arsenal are going to do it tomorrow. I think it's going to be really high. Like, if we score in the first 15 minutes, that's going to be huge. Because the Emirates is going to be absolutely rocking.
You're making an effort to make an atmosphere of it.
This is games that managers and star players get remembered for.
Mm-hmm.
So if Saka can perform, if Martinelli can pull his finger out and put his head up sometimes when he's running down the wing, if Odegaard can do what he can when he's at his best, we have players to create moments.
Rice is going to be huge.
Rice is going to be really interesting. Well, that midfield battle actually is going to be fascinating.
Him and Bellingham.
It's going to be really so interesting. I just think, I am thinking heart over head right here, obviously, but it's something in the air. I could feel it. I think we're going to do them over the top. But tomorrow night, I'm going to say 1-0 Arsenal.
I like it.
Saka,
you got me excited,
23rd
man.
minute.
You got me excited.
I'm excited. It's a huge game.
It's a huge game. Well, I'm hoping you'll all be watching, for everyone listening to this, and you can listen to what we've said and compare it to how wrong the true reality of it actually was. That's the beauty of hindsight, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
I think that's... Do you want to... I'll just quickly touch on...
Let's touch on Europa League, because you are off to another away day.
I am off to another away day, and I've just got some devastating news today.
Go on.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you're off with friend of the pod.
Meister 6000.
Yeah.
He and I are heading to Bordeaux Thursday morning. We've got a 6 a.m. flight, and then we arrive in Bordeaux. Then we connect at midday, and we take another flight to Lyon. We get there around 1 p.m. And then it now turns out, because and I knew this was going to happen, but Lyon have a very strong ultra culture.
Right.
Their fan culture is a lot more aggressive than you would find in most typical places, especially compared to like the other top 5 European leagues. So as a result, now we have to get collected from a place and be put on buses with wristbands. But the great thing about it is that the actual location or the pickup point is 13 kilometers outside of the city centre. And then after the game, which kicks off at 9 o'clock local time, which will then probably finish approximately 11 p.m., we then get kept behind for 90 minutes.
Ugh.
And then we then get transported on another bus back to the airport.
Yeah,
so
that is a fucking
it's going to be dreadful. But all you can hope for in that moment is that the boys make it something that you don't care about. Caveat it with, though, small victory. It's the first time I've ever been to a Euro away where they're going to sell alcoholic beer, which doesn't make sense. How crazy is that? All the other
I was going to say, what have the other ones done then?
They don't. They sell non-alcoholic beer.
Or only to away fans?
Yeah, only to away fans. This is the first Euro away that I've seen where they actually sell alcoholic beer at the stadium for the away fans. But that's crazy because they're literally herding us around like prisoners. Shipping us out,
fueling everyone up with booze.
Yeah, literally thinking, oh, we'll keep you away from everyone as much as possible. But then they're going to let us drink alcohol at the stadium. It makes no sense. So anyway, we found that out today. But on the game, I think their winger, I can't remember his name. I think it's like Numa or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's been ruled out from an ACL injury. God, all these injuries, man. So he's out. I know that one of their centre mids are also out. But shout out, like a couple of their danger players for Lyon, I want to say, would be Taliza, who's returned from Bayern Munich and has been apparently, according to other podcasts that I listen to, one of the better.
You mean the enemy?
Yeah, the enemy. One of the better midfielders in Liga this season. You've also got Ryan Cherky, who is a young prospect who has been middling, essentially. He had lots of high hopes when he was young, and I think he's tailed off. And now he's at that age where he's 21, 22 now. It seems like he's had that season where he's really kicked on and matured, and he's got he's one of these of raw talent and ability. Nothing but raw talent and ability. He's never been able to link it up to his mind almost.
Sure.
But it seems like he's now getting that balance right, and he's been a real force for Lyon this year. He's going to be definitely someone to watch out for on the Thursday evening. Shout out Alexander Lacazette, who is also at Lyon, the club that he
lack of threat
grew up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope he's a lack of threat. He's had a bad season, but he is the captain of the side, and you'd expect to see him over the two legs. But shout out like a threat.
Yeah, God, I mean, just PTSD of having him up front, bless him.
But yeah, so it should be good, should be exciting. We'll try and keep everyone updated and posted with some clips from the trip. Predictions. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Manchester United.
All right, nice. I'm going to go for a titillating 2-2.
Ooh,
that's what I'm expecting.
That'd be dreadful. I'd be so annoyed.
It would be. I'll be watching it. But yeah, like I said, Taylor is going to film some bits and bobs. Mm-hmm. So check out our TikTok, our YouTube Shorts, which you'll see if you're watching this on YouTube, or which everything will be in the description for this to keep up to date with Taylor's antics with, like we said, friend of the pod, our number one super fan, groupie, if you will.
Yeah,
I think it's probably a good way to look at it. But briefly as well, Spurs playing Frankfurt.
Yep, I think they'll struggle. I think Spurs have been getting worse. And also, they've got that vibe now that everyone hates the manager. It's never a good vibe. The vibe now is no matter, even if they win the Europa, he won't stay, which to me is just like a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. It's a dreadful way to have to finish the season. So I think they probably will struggle. What are we saying? Are they at home? They are at home. So I think they'll probably do all right in the first leg. I'd probably go for a 1-1, but I think Frankfurt will probably do them.
I think I'm gonna say 2-0 Frankfurt in this one, just because fuck Spurs.
Yeah,
but also I think, like you said, the vibes have never been lower.
No, never been lower. Don't want to see Tottenham in that final because
Tottenham United final would be awesome.
Dreadful.
It would be awesome.
You reckon?
Battle for Champions League. Yeah. In terms, I mean, it's not going to be a classic, is it?
No,
I think
it's so Englishified though. I don't want that. I want us to get like.
No, but it's more fun if there's other European teams.
Yeah,
Rangers.
Give us Bodo Glimt or something, man.
Yeah, that's it. Bodo Glimt, Lazio, quick one off the dome.
Lazio going to win 3-1, and then what do you think?
I'm going to say 2-2 again.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Bodo
Glimt are good.
All about both these teams.
They've been good this season in the Europa League. Rangers Bilbao.
Ooh,
it's a great game.
It is a great game. That's real spicy stuff.
It's who United play as well if we were to progress.
Oh, is it? Okay, interesting.
So it's either Rangers
who do you want?
Rangers, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, the final's in Bilbao, and I've just been to San Sebastian.
So
if I then have to go back to Bilbao...
You're sick of it.
Glasgow, hell yeah.
Oh, that'll be good fun. Glasgow's a good night out. I'm going to say 2-0 Rangers.
Ooh, all right. I'm gonna go for 2-1 Rangers. I think at home the vibes will be higher, and then I think they'll probably mash it up in the. I think they'll get to the second leg and they'll lose in the last minute because they always lose in the last minute.
They do.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Right, anything else you want to run through?
I think that's crack in place to
call it off.
Stop. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so it's been another great episode. Taylor, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for all watching / listening. Like I said, all our links for everything will be in the description. Please rate, please like, please share, do all that fun stuff. Keep a lookout for Taylor's European trip because that's going to be the most interesting thing happening this week. And we'll get another episode to you probably the end of next weekend. So thank you very much for watching. Taylor, once again, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you again next week. Au revoir.